folks. I'm Paul Laramie, and I want you to join me in welcoming to the team AgainstTheNumber.com sports handicapper, founder of the Know All team, president of Keep Nevada Open, and your brand new show host of the Matt Anthony Show, only here on Right News America, Mr. Matt Anthony.
Matt Anthony here, live from the underground Las Vegas bunker out here in Las Vegas, Nevada for the inaugural Matt Anthony Show. Glad to be a part of Right News Network and everything they're doing. Seems like a great platform to get our word out, and here we go. So today I'm here live with Paul Laramie, the founder of Right News America, and he's going to be joining me in studio today. We're going to talk a little bit about Right News America and why we created it, maybe a little background on myself and where the show is going forward. So here's Paul Laramie. Why did you decide to start Right News America, Paul?
Hey, Matt, first of all, I just want to say I'm really grateful that we got you here at RNA. I know that a couple other networks were looking to get the Matt Anthony Show. So we're glad that we picked you up here at RNA. Pretty much the whole platform and the reason that we started RNA is to fight censorship. We know that a lot of the news networks out there were not allowing stories to go through or not publishing certain stories due to political differences.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. I can vouch for that. I know a lot about censorship. They have Facebook and all the social media platforms have been really putting the hammer down on me lately, and I just want to say I'm sick of it, and I'm glad to be a part of Right News America. I think we have a bright future here, and with all the incoming talent that we're finding over here at Right News America, I think this network has big things ahead. So, all right, so let's jump into some censorship. I can tell you, first off, I am the founder of Keep Nevada Open, the vice president of Fight for Nevada, and I've created some other big Facebook groups in the past, and they've been recently shut down.
Shadow banned.
We're gonna have to get a button for that one. So, yeah. So I don't know. And then they put me in Facebook jail for a month or so there, and I haven't really been able to do the things I wanted to do in the last month, but I've been working a lot behind the scenes, building a lot of these platforms, such as AmericanVetProject.com with a friend of mine, Steve, up in Reno.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're building our own forums, and it's a network of, basically forums that he created to where in other groups from other cities and states can get involved. So it's going to be a giant patriot directory, if you will. So check out AmericanVetProject.com and click on the No Censorship Forum, and that'll take you right to the forum. You sign up, it's free, and start posting and getting involved. So
that's awesome. That's great, guys.
Absolutely. So we're doing a lot of things here.
Great projects.
I was also recently hired as the marketing director of the Vegas Take radio show. It's on Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 101.5 FM and 720 a.m.
Listen, I don't like to be interrupted.
That's Paul with the voices. We're going to be having a lot of that on this show moving forward. So, Paul, I got to say...
by the way, I love the Vegas Take. It's so entertaining.
It is an entertaining show.
The information they give is great, but just the way those guys go back and forth, I always tune in.
Absolutely.
From 9 to 12, man.
J.D. Sharp and Brian Shapiro definitely have some good battles on air. So, I don't know if we're going to go that route on this show. We're going to tend to keep it more, conservative, I guess you would say. But we're going to have some fun here going forward on the Matt Anthony Show.
That's right.
So, Paul, I want to ask you a couple questions about Right News America. When exactly did you start it?
Well, Right News America was started. Well, it was started a while back, actually. It took a while to form all the legalities, but we started producing here in February. We just felt a very big need and a void of stories that were being told. We saw stories that were coming out, did research, and they were never told to the American people at all. They were just neglected to be told. They were banned. They were, just buried in a pile of stuff that you couldn't even find on Google, and they were happening, and they were valid things that were happening in people's lives that they had to deal with. News stories that you should see on your daily and national news that weren't being reported. That and censorship. We wanted to give you guys a platform to have your shows censor-free, where you can say the words you want to say, how you want to say them. Until we get picked up by a majorly syndicated radio station, then you'll have to abide by FCC regulations. But other than that, you can say the F word.
Oh yeah, we could say the F word here. We have our own platform, so until we get picked up, we're gonna be having some fun. So you might want to keep the kids away. So yeah, I'm telling you, I think this censorship is a slippery slope, and it's not even really just the censorship that bugs me. Which it does bug me, but the hypocrisy is what bugs me more than anything. Like, they're going to try to blame Trump about the so-called insurrection on January 6th on the Capitol. And when you listen to the speech, like, Donald Trump did no way, shape, or form incite any violence. He actually said, let's peacefully march to the Capitol. They were already storming the Capitol by the time he was even speaking. So none of it really adds up. But on the other side, the left side, you get Maxine Waters out there at gas stations saying, draw a crowd, don't let them in, or, hassle them. Or, actors like Johnny Depp saying, like, oh, hey, when's the last time an actor assassinated a president? Nothing happens to these people. That's what bugs me more than anything, listeners, is the total hypocrisy on one side. They can say and do whatever they want, but, God forbid we have a protest, a peaceful protest at that, which we've had many of, and they've all been peaceful. We get the hammer dropped on us, for saying basic stuff, like we want to go out there and peacefully speak our minds.
They got the FBI interrogating people who have nothing to do with any kind of violence.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The FBI has been very active out here in the Las Vegas area. They've questioned more than a few people that I know. They haven't questioned me yet, even though I don't understand why they would. Because I don't know, for the listeners who are not familiar with me, there has been a lot of lies and, rumors going around about me that I'm something that I'm not, and none of it's true. I've never once advocated for violence in any of my platforms, or especially I will never do that on this show.
You're just a big guy, and sometimes I think you scare people. They show up to the rally, you're like, I'm gonna punch this Matt Anthony guy in the face. And Matt, this guy's a puppy dog. He's the nicest guy. I'm not saying that he won't handle his own, but he's a nice guy. He doesn't want to fight you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these guys, they show up and they see this big guy here, and they poop their pants, and then they get mad. Matt threatened me. He didn't threaten you. He just looked over and said hi.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I am a big guy. I guess I can be a little intimidating. Some people say, but I'm a nice guy. I don't like violence. I've never advocated for violence or been really a violent guy in my life. So
you like scotch, though.
I do like scotch. That is true. But yeah. So I don't know. A lot of what's going on around, being said about me in the media, like the local media. A couple articles have been written about me. Is that I'm this big mean guy who just goes around and bullies people and threatens them and all that. None of it's true. Don't believe it. They're a bunch of liberal kooks. Like they'll write anything.
According to the Review Journal, Mac Miller's a white supremacist.
Yeah, I know. According to the Review Journal, former Assembly candidate Mac Miller is is officially a white supremacist. So, anyone who knows Mac knows that that's definitely not true. So, I don't know. These people will stop at nothing to discredit us and make us look bad. And quite frankly, I don't expect them to stop anytime soon. So, we're just going to roll with the punches. We're going to build our own platforms. We're going to build our own networks. So we don't even have to deal with these people anymore because, quite frankly, I'm sick of them. I'm sick of everything they stand for. I'm sick of the hypocrisy. I'm sick of the censorship. It's really just a bunch of BS. And
welcome to the birth of the new school.
Welcome, absolutely. So we're just gonna build our own platforms here, and we're gonna separate from these people entirely because they really. They're the bullies, if you really think about it. They're the ones going around threatening people. They're the ones saying they're going to do all this stuff to former President Trump. Like you have, what's her name? Kathy Griffin with, fake, the fake severed head. Remember that, America? Yeah. Well, nothing happened to her. I just want everyone to be clear that nothing happened to her. Or when Madonna went and said, when we want to blow up the White House. If I said something like that, I would immediately be arrested.
Yeah, you can't say stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah, you can't. But why is it cool for Madonna to say it? Like, well, why didn't the Secret Service visit her? Or why didn't the Secret Service visit Kathy Griffin or Maxine Waters? Left privilege.
That's what it is.
Leftist privilege. That's a new term that we're going to coin here on the Matt Anthony Show. Leftist privilege. And that's what it is. As long as you're on their side politically, you can get away and do whatever you want with no consequences, no repercussions, nothing. And that's what's continuing to happen, especially now with the Biden administration. I don't expect it to stop anytime soon. America, we have a long 4 years ahead of us. I will just say that. So we got
long 4 years.
A long 4 years. So we have to strap in and really think about where we're going to go as conservatives and what our plan is moving forward. Like, do we separate entirely? Do we try to, continue to wake people up like we have been for the last few years?
Well, there's talk of a new party. They want to bring a new party about, which I understand the sentiment, but it's not a great idea. It's just going to rip people apart. I mean, we need a strong party, not a new party that's going to separate us.
Yeah, Paul, I tend to agree with you there. I hear a lot of talk about a new party. Like they call it the Patriot Party. There's other ones, there's always been a Libertarian Party. But the main, just on the street that I'm getting is that everyone wants to go with the Patriot Party. And hey, I'm all for third parties at some point, but I just don't think America's ready for it yet. Because if we do it now, all we're going to do is split the votes, and then we're just going to guarantee Democrat victories.
Yeah, I love the idea of a Patriot Party. You just can't win. You're not going to win. You're not going to win with a third party that divides the Republican Party. I wish it would happen. I love the concept. The Lion is a great mascot. I just don't see you winning with the Patriot Party.
Yes, at least at this time. Now, that doesn't say in the future, after a couple more election cycles, people might be ready for it. But I just think it's too soon. Like, I think we're better off trying to get control of the Republican Party and infiltrating the Republican Party. We got to get our people elected as Republicans. That's how we're going to win in the near future. Now, I know what everyone's thinking. Oh, wow, like voter fraud. There's never going to be another fair election again. And you could very well be right. I got to say.
Could be.
That's a distinct possibility.
Hope not.
But we're just looking at the odds here, and that if we're going to continue to play their game with the elections, then the only way to do it right now is through the Republican Party. And we need to get these rhinos out. We need to start showing up the primaries. And see, that's a problem that a lot of people have, is they don't really care about primary elections.
Vote.
They just sit there and wait for a general election. But we need to start primarying some of these rhinos out. People like Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader now. There's no reason that guy should not be primaried out in Kentucky. Like, we need a wave of Kentucky Republicans to go out there, and we need someone to run against him first. I know everyone's scared to death of Mitch McConnell in Kentucky, but we need a brave Republican to get out there in Kentucky and actually challenge this man in a primary. And I'm willing to bet that, he may not win, but he's going to make some noise, and he's going to get a lot more votes.
Let's make some noise.
A lot more votes than than Mitch McConnell expects. So it could at least rattle him. But we need to start getting in these primary elections and really challenging these rhinos and, at least attempt to get them out of office. At the bare minimum, rattle them a little bit so they know that we're here and, we could potentially remove them from office at some point. What do you think about that, Paul?
Well, I think that we have to take control over our voting and who we have in office. We can't have these people sitting in office thinking it's a guarantee. Hey, I'm just going to get elected next time because I'm the prominent Republican. Not anymore, buddy. We need our grassroots campaign, our people on the streets to come out, vote for the people that's going to support you. Support the politicians that support you. I mean, there were people that were overlooked in our local elections last time. People that really care about you, people that would have worked for you, and you voted for the prominent name, the person that everybody knows who they are, but hasn't done worth the crap for you since they got elected.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, they just vote with the popular name and, who's well known. I guess you would call them elitist or whatever you want to call them, like these Ivy League turds, basically, who, go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, whatever, and they think they just rule over you. And, they get into politics and, they end up being a senator for 50 years and accomplishing nothing. We need to get these people out. Like, these got to be public enemy number one for us. What do you think about that?
Yeah, look at the Heather Florian situation. Now, she's someone who cared about her district. She's someone that would have went, to Carson City and done whatever she could have done to make sure that people in her district were taken care of, that their voices were heard. And she was completely overlooked because she had an R next to her name and the other guy had a D. Now, the lady that had a D happened to have a D because she was a douchebag. She didn't care about the people. She didn't do anything for the community. And here she is, elected again, and you didn't get the right person for the job because you didn't vote.
And she's going to continue to do nothing for you, Henderson. Just for our listeners who aren't clear who Heather Florian is, she was a Republican candidate for Assembly District 18 out in Henderson. It's a pretty blue district. So, yeah, we weren't expecting Heather to win, but hey, Henderson, Heather would have fought for you, and she would have been out there voting for your interest in Carson City. And she got totally overlooked, and that's just too bad because I know Heather, she's a great girl, and she would have made a great assemblywoman. But hey,
she would have fought for Democrats.
She would have even fought,
Yeah, she'd have fought for your voices to be heard. That's what she cares about. But you overlooked her in favor of somebody that had a D in their name, and the D stood for douchebag.
Oh yeah, and now that we're on some of these local, Clark County, Nevada races. There's a couple more I want to mention. Another big mistake that we made was electing Michael Naft. That would be Steve Sisolak's protege, who was appointed to the Clark County Commission District A when Sisolak ran for governor. Now, his opponent, the guy that we backed, was a guy named Mike Thomas. He was a Republican. He lives out in District A, the Clark County Commission. And he's another guy who would have fought for you. He would have been out there fighting for your interest. He would have been out there reopening our businesses. He actually traveled out to Laughlin for as part of his campaign, which is actually part of District A, because District A is a very big district. And, he drew a big crowd out there in Laughlin. I got to say, Laughlin was definitely behind Mike Thomas. But, Thomas just didn't get the votes in Clark County. He lost by about 5%. I think it was 53 to 47 something like that, or 52.5 to 47.5%. So Thomas made it a pretty close race, but he came up just short. Now, as you know, all the Clark County commissioners are all Democrat currently as we speak. We do have potentially a special election coming up with Stavros Anthony for Clark County Commission District C. He was the guy who lost in Clark County District C Commission by 10 votes. Now, you think of all the voter fraud that went on this past cycle. Guys like Stavros Anthony could have really probably won. Even a guy like Mike Thomas could have won. So that's a shame. Hopefully they get that special election because we really need at least one Republican county commissioner here in Clark County because it's pretty blue and they all vote the same way. And they're all voting to keep your businesses shut down right now. Make no mistake about it, Las Vegas. These county commissioners are working hard to keep you not working. So, and then one more race I wanted to bring up was Mac Miller in Assembly District 5.
Mac Miller, I love that guy.
Yeah, I love him too. He's a great guy. He's a charismatic guy. He's very good on front of the camera.
I'll tell you a quick story about Mac. Mac actually came out with me and donated a bunch of water and food to the Servants of Christ. I don't know if you know Doris and the Servants of Christ, like Tony Palmer and them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they go ahead and they feed like 400 people every other Sunday downtown in Las Vegas. And that's one of the places where I became familiar with Mr. Miller's because I met him. We were feeding the homeless together, donating water. I actually have a picture on my website, paullarabee.com, where I'm with him in front of his limo with the thumbs up after donating the water. I love the guy.
Yeah, Mac's a great guy. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with Mac quite a bit, and he's came out to pretty much every protest we've thrown here in Las Vegas area for Fight for Nevada and Keep Nevada Open. He's been to every one. He was another guy who would have went there and fought for you in Carson City. Immediately vote to reopen. He's definitely against not for mail-in ballots because, now knowing the election results, I'm thinking that the mail-in ballots is what got him. And he lost a close race. He came within 2% in a pretty blue assembly district against Brittany Miller. And, yeah, Mac could have easily won that seat. And, it's a shame that he didn't, but I'm pretty sure Mac has some plans in the future that, maybe he can get into one day on this show. But, yeah, Paul, I don't know.
Yeah, that man's a strategist. He always has plans.
He's always got something up his sleeve. So you definitely haven't seen the last of Mac Miller. I guarantee you that. Yeah. But moving forward, because obviously we have 2022 coming up. And, this is a non-presidential election cycle. So we do have an opportunity here as conservatives because a lot of liberals tend to sit out these non-presidential election cycles. So if we can get a big red wave, or we can get Republican voter turnout, higher than the average, we're going to need higher than the average to account for the fraud. We might be able to steal some seats here in Nevada. And of course, as we know, the big ones in 2022 where Sisolak is running for re-election against, as of now, an unknown opponent, but
Hopefully we get somebody in there to take his seat.
Oh,
that guy has destroyed our economy.
Oh, yeah, this guy's a nightmare.
I personally lost 2 businesses because of him.
2 businesses Paul's lost, personally, due to Steve Sisolak, that jerk-off. This guy's just the epitome of a piece of shit. And I'm sorry to cuss on air, but we do have our own platform, so for now, we can cuss. But, you want to talk about a crook? This guy got his fortune by suing McCarran Airport, for one. And then as a Clark County commissioner...
Don't you meet Harry Reid International?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
There's a whole nother issue we're going to get into in a minute. Harry Reid International Airport. How does that sound, Nevada? Sounds pretty terrible to me. I don't know about you. But anyway, Steve Sisolak... My uncle, actually, God rest his soul, Richard Rancilio, he used to run Grand Canyon Tour Company out here, I don't know if that, people who have been living here since the 70s and 80s should know that. 1-800-2-CANYON. But Grand Canyon Tour Company, and unfortunately, my uncle passed away in 2011, but he knew Steve Sisolak as a county commissioner because he would have to deal with them. His business was actually in Sisolak's county commission district. So, and he would always say, this guy's just a con artist in a cheap suit. That was my uncle's quote about Steve Sisolak.
Isn't that the entire county commission though? Aren't they? Isn't that the today's equivalent of the crooked?
Yeah, these guys are all a bunch of con artists, and they do dress cheap, by the way. I mean,
these guys are shysters. They're gypsies.
I know I'm not the best dressed guy out there,
Clark
but
County Commissioner gypsies.
I don't go out and buy fake suits and pretend to be wearing like a $3,000 suit when it's really a suit from the Men's Warehouse. And hey, nothing wrong with the Men's Warehouse.
Yeah, I don't buy $3,000 suits. I buy like $150, $200 suits. I'm cheap.
Yeah. I always got to look for value when we're up and coming. So, hopefully down the line we'll be able to get some better suits. But
I'll never buy a $3,000 suit.
But here's a guy, Sisolak, who has the money. He's a guy's worth like $40 million, and he still wears a cheap suit. I mean, what's that about?
Because he spends all the taxpayer monies on his new private jets.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That is true. A $10 million private jet, to fly back and forth between Carson City and Las Vegas. Because if everyone knows that Steve Sisolak lives in Las Vegas, he's rarely in Carson City. He lives over there in Spanish Trails. Oh, that's a good-looking coin that Paul's showing me here. It's a 2018 Trump gold dollar. Wow, that looks really sharp. Anything you want to say about that?
No, it's just a great coin. I got at a debate party from my friend and photographer, Lot Hughes. If you guys need photography, make sure to check him out. Lot Hughes Photography, great photographer. He is the official Republican Chamber of Commerce photographer, my personal photographer. This guy's amazing. But that's enough about the photographer. You got about 4 minutes left.
So yeah, wow, this show actually went pretty quick. We got into a good flow there. So yeah, we'll just get into a little bit about where the show's going. Like our first show, our inaugural show here today, me and Paul are just here in the underground bunker. We just figured we'd kind of wing it, get into the platforms and all that, and what the future of Right News America is. We're going to have some good talent coming here soon, and we talked about a couple issues today, mainly like censorship and local Nevada elections. But going forward on this show, I'm thinking that we're going to keep this one. I mean, we'll talk about Nevada, don't get me wrong, but I think we're going to keep this show more general issues and maybe national news like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, and kind of mix it with Nevada. But we are planning to do a Keep Nevada Open show coming up here soon, which we'll have a various group of hosts that will host that one. That one won't just be me. So, a lot of the admins on that page and group and organization will be hosting the show. And we'll keep that one specifically to Nevada. Now, if you want to check out our Facebook group for Keep Nevada Open, just type in Keep Nevada Open on the search bar, or that's facebook.com/groups, Nevadans Against Quarantine. So that's how you check out Keep Nevada Open, the Facebook group. There's a couple other websites I want to plug here before we're over. Again, AmericanVetProject.com. Go into there and click on the No Censorship Forum, and it's free, and you could sign up, and we're going to have our own uncensored forums. If you want to check out Fight for Nevada Facebook group, that would be facebook.com/groups/recall Steve Sisolak. And obviously, RightNewsAmerica.com is the pinnacle of all this, and we're going to be building a massive platform here with a lot of good shows coming up in the future. And AgainstTheNumber.com, because I am a handicapper.
Get your bets in.
Get your bets in if you are interested in purchasing sports betting picks from a team of great local Las Vegas handicappers. Check out AgainstTheNumber.com. Now, I want to drop a couple Twitters real quick for my handicapping business. It would be at TotalsPro. And at Real Matt Anthony is my personal Twitter. Now, Paul, if there's anything you want to plug before we wrap it up.
Well, don't forget, if you guys want to do any advertising with Right News America, just drop us a line at newsroom at rightnewsamerica.com. That's newsroom at rightnewsamerica.com. Also, if you want to advertise on the Vegas Take, reach out to Mr. Anthony directly. He is the executive of the advertising team.
Oh,
that's all I got, guys.
Thank you for that plug, Paul. Yes.
It was a pleasure to have you on the radio.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for doing the first show with me.
Having your new show.
Thank you. And I just want to give, always check me out on Facebook. It's Matt Anthony. And all my links to everything I'm doing are right on my front or my homepage, right on the front. You can't miss them. I got them all listed. So great inaugural show. Me and Paul are about to do a toast. And until next time, sayonara, Nevada.